If there's one thing I've realized over my 20-some odd years of life, it's that we tend to focus on the negative way too much. And whenever something doesn't go our way, we'll say, man, if only I would have done this differently, maybe this would have happened instead. Yeah, maybe it would have, but what if you're wrong? What if it would have been just the same, or worse? Now, I'd like to say don't do that, it doesn't help you, it works against you, it's terrible, but let's be real, I do it too sometimes. So hopefully when you watch this video, it'll help you, and when I play it back, it'll help me too. Now, I know that it's hard to believe that when you look this good, you can still have problems, but I do. I do. Despite my charismatic face and my magnetic personality and this picture of Charmander I drew, I'm just as human as you. Maybe even more so human than you. As a matter of fact, I'm completely more so human than you. Think about that for a second. But consider this fact. We don't know what would have happened if only you'd done something different. So there's no point in thinking too hard about those what-if situations. Think of it this way. Even if you feel like something really bad happened to you, who's to say it couldn't have been worse if even one thing in that chain of events had changed? Yeah, I could have been driving the speed limit when that cop passed by and not gotten that ticket, but what if that cop didn't stop me? What if I would have kept driving at that same speed and ended up in the wrong trucker's blind spot? And then what if that trucker was carrying some hazardous material that somehow spilled into my car and then got all over me and made me look like some kind of Pokemon? Who knows what could have happened? People would have been trying to catch me. I don't want to live in a ball. Do you? So you see, who knows what could happen? Now, I know it's easier said than done to completely change your thinking all at once, so I'll tell you guys a little story about something that happened to me. So back when I was in middle school, there was this girl named Natalia that I had the hugest crush on. And to make it worse, she actually messed with me first. This was how I first came to notice her. One day I was in the cafeteria eating by myself like I usually do because I'm a lone wolf with amazing powers of awesomeness that might make it hard for people to breathe around me. So I keep distance when I eat. My Ryatsu is pretty heavy. So what that means is that my body generates so much awesome power that no matter what I'm doing, if you're not strong enough, you can become easily crushed under the weight of my amazing energy that my body puts out, which will also help to maintain the Earth's natural atmosphere and orbit. So I do my part to help the environment too. You're welcome. Anyway, so Natalia was one of those pretty girls that run with a clique of the prettiest and most popular girls in school. And by only allowing the prettiest and coolest girls in their posse, they remain exclusive and only further increase their popularity. Now on top of that, they engage in what's known as random cool clique antics. Random cool clique antics are the escapades that cool groups get into for fun. It's a way of showing how cool and rebellious your group can be. So pranks, coordinated outfits, and group outings where lots of people can see them are good examples of the kinds of things they do to get attention. Now when I was young, I did hang with a few cliques and posses myself, but we were probably best categorized as cool losers. You know, like the kids who were kind of nerdy and did some fun stuff, but didn't go on too many extravagant outings or coordinate outfits or anything like that. You know, nothing that would really cost money because we didn't really have any, but we still had fun. So we were like the kinds of kids that weren't complete losers, but we lost in a cool way, if that makes any sense. So from the outside looking in, we were corny, but it was kind of cool how corny we were, I guess. Anyway, so I was eating lunch by myself one day and trying not to crush everyone around me with my awesome aura of Super Saiyan powers, and these 4 cute girls come up to the window of the cafeteria and start knocking like they need something. I noticed them, but I'm still eating, so I decided to ignore it because I figured someone else would let them in. But they kept knocking and no one's letting them in. So now they're looking at me, and they keep pointing at this milk carton on the table by the window like they want me to bring it to them. So I figure I'll be nice and, you know, help them quench their thirst since everyone else is clearly too lazy to do it. So I grab the milk and take it to them, and as soon as I open the door, they burst into laughter and run away.
We better get out of here before he sees us.
Which made me pranked and confused. But I couldn't help but notice how cute they were, especially this one girl in the group named Natalia. So after that, I had a huge crush on her and I wanted to ask her out, but I was too nervous. So eventually I wrote her a poem, or 7, that I left in her locker, and she knew it was from me because I at least wrote my name on it. I mean, I had that much courage, just not enough to ask her out. So this was the first step, which required finesse. It took longer than expected getting all 7 poems in her locker, and she almost caught me doing it, but luckily my spidey sense never fails. Which gave me just enough time to make a smooth, clean exit. So she never saw me, but she saw the letters. And she did seem to like them, but it took me over a year to build up enough confidence and nerve to even come close to asking her out. I met her in the 8th grade, and the almost confidence that I gained didn't happen until around the end of 9th grade. But by that time, when I wanted to ask her out, she already had a boyfriend. Some dude who, wasn't the type to give in to fear of asking a girl out. So, long story short, I lost my chance when I had it and never got that chance again. The ball was in my court and I completely dropped it like a rock. Now, even if I did ask her out, she might have said no, or maybe she would have said yes, but, who knows? I didn't try when I could have actually given it a shot. And this did haunt me for a while, at least until I got old enough to realize that everything happens for a reason. So, who can say if it was ever even supposed to happen with her? But not long ago, I found her on Facebook and added her as a friend, and she was cool, but she has a kid now, and I'm not ready for kids yet. As a matter of fact, I'm not even ready for marriage, and I definitely have to get married before I have kids. I made the decision back in high school that I don't want multiple baby mamas or anything like that. I want to have my wife first, and then my kids with my wife, so that I can have one unified, happy family. And if I would have dated her back then, she might have fell from my corny charm at that time, and maybe I would have had like 12 kids by now. I'm just saying, who knows? The point is, there is no point in focusing on the what-ifs. Let me finish my sentence. There is no point in focusing on the what-ifs. I'm just glad that things are going as smoothly as they are now, because if I'm meant for better things, but I have to wait a few more years, then so be it. Nothing worth having comes easy, and nothing meaningful and lasting comes in an instant. Don't feel like your life is going terribly just because you miss out on a couple things you want, because who's to say you're not meant for something greater?